In 1804, the human population reached 1 billion. In only 200 years, we have expanded by 6 billion people. In October of this year, the human population reached 7 billion people. Every second, there are approximately 4 babies being born. In an hour, about 14,400. That adds up to about 345,600 babies every day. With our rapidly increasing population comes a rapidly increasing concern of how to support all of these people. Scientists are striving to discover more ways to reduce our carbon footprint on the earth, from buying organic local foods to recycling reused products. One of the most important ways that I've discovered is elimination of meats from our diets and the practice of vegetarianism, or even veganism. Vegetarianism has been around for centuries. The Greek mathematician Pythagoras was a vegetarian. In fact, vegetarians were called Pythagoreans up until the 1800s. Whether for religious beliefs, moral values, or plain old personal preference, vegetarianism is practiced by a wide range of people. As the human population increases, the world's appetite for meat increases, and countries across the globe are bulldozing huge amounts of land to make room for animals and their feeding. A 2010 UN report explained that Western dietary preferences to meat would be unsustainable as the world's population rose to the forecasted 9.1 billion by 2050. Each U.S. citizen, on average, consumes 260 pounds of meat each year, which is the world's highest rate. The demand for meat is expected to double by 2050. Meat consumption is steadily rising in countries such as China that once followed more sustainable, vegetable-based diets. Raising animals for food requires massive amounts of land, food, energy, and water. The byproducts of animal agriculture pollute our air and waterways. It also is a huge contributor to the emission of greenhouse gases. Becoming a vegetarian can help save our forests. Tropical forests in Brazil and other tropic regions are destroyed daily to create more space to raise livestock. According to scientists at the Smithsonian Institute, 7 football fields worth of land is bulldozed every minute to create more room for farmed animals and the crops that feed them. Of all the agricultural land in the United States, 80% is used to raise animals for food and grow grain to feed them. That's almost half of the total landmass of the lower 48 states. In addition to land use, animal agriculture uses excessive amounts of water. Chickens, pigs, cattle, and other animals raised for food are the primary consumers of water in the United States. A single pig consumes 21 gallons of water per day, while a cow on a dairy farm drinks as much as 50 gallons daily. It takes about 2,400 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of cow meat, whereas only 180 gallons are needed to produce 1 pound of whole wheat flour. Animal agriculture also pollutes the air we are breathing. Large factory farms produce massive amounts of dust and other contaminants. When the cesspools holding urine and feces get full, factories sometimes spray the liquid manure into the air for nearby residents to breathe in. Studies have shown that animal waste emits toxic airborne chemicals that can cause inflammatory, immune, and other sorts of problems in humans. Not only do the factories pollute our air, but the animals themselves do. Cows and pigs produce a significant amount of carbon dioxide and methane gas. Producing a little more than 2 pounds of beef causes more greenhouse gas emissions than driving a car for 3 hours, and uses up more energy than leaving your house lights on for the same period of time. According to Environmental Defense, if every American skipped 1 meal of chicken per week and ate sustainable vegetarian foods instead, the carbon dioxide savings would be the same as taking more than 500,000 cars off the U.S. roads. Becoming a vegetarian helps with the conservation of fossil fuels. It takes 78 calories of fossil fuel to produce 1 calorie of beef protein, 35 calories for pork, and 22 calories for chicken, but it only takes 1 calorie to produce 1 calorie of soybeans. Eating plant foods instead of animal foods helps conserve our non-renewable energy. Aside from the fact that being a meat eater is detrimental to the Earth's well-being, the animals themselves are treated horribly. Factories strive to produce the most meat, milk, and eggs as quickly and cheaply as possible, which results in abusive conditions for the animals. Animals are packed into the factories so tight they can barely move. Workers have been filmed violently throwing chickens at walls, stomping on their heads, and repetitively kicking the animals. Federal law requires mammals to be stunned prior to slaughter. An electric current is used to induce a heart attack or seizure, but oftentimes the animals will suffer failed stuns, in which they become paralyzed but do not lose sensibility. Unconscious animals whose necks are not cut soon enough may regain their senses after being hung on the bleed rails. The animals are fed drugs that manipulate them to grow faster and produce more than they would naturally. The majority of mass-produced chickens are raised in the dark. Their bodies grow so large in such a short amount of time that they are unable to walk, and some die from the strain on their bodies. Switching to a vegetarian diet can reduce your carbon footprint, allowing you to tread lightly on the planet and nestle yourself into nature. Whether you go vegetarian for the environment, for your own personal health, or for the animals' well-being, you have the power to change the world, simply by changing what's on your plate.